Hello and welcome to Movement Mondays. I'm Alex Weaver. For today's class, all you need is a yoga mat or towel or something that you can lay down and do exercises on, potentially a chair or bench or stool or something starting up to sit on, and some water. For those of you who saw my social media post earlier, so today's class is going to focus, the first part is going to focus on some stretching and mobility stuff. It's going to be a little different than normal. I know a lot of folks are anxious about the election tomorrow. I certainly am. So we're going to try to release some tension, do some gentle movement. So I'm going to share the stream, make sure things are looking good, and we'll get started here in just a second. And all right, so we're going to get started here in just a second. All right, so for those of you just tuning in, I'm Alex Weaver. Welcome to Movement Mondays. For today's class, it's going to be a little bit different than normal. We're going to do about 10 to 15 minutes of stretching and mobility. If you have anything in particular you want me to add in for stretching, drop it in the comments. Make sure you're commenting on Thunderwell's stream, or else I will not see the comments if you're commenting from either the Alien Athletes page or in the group. And so we'll start off with some stretching. Our first circuit today is going to be a little more low-key, and then our second circuit is going to be a little harder, and then we'll end with some core. So you can pick and choose what of this workout feels good for you. Today we are focusing on just getting some movement in, maybe releasing some tension, since a lot of people are feeling anxious. So we'll go ahead and get started here in just a second. Also, I moved the clock so that you can see the time behind me. If that is too bright or bothers anyone, I can move it. So if that is too distracting, please let me know, and I'll happily move it elsewhere. So, all right. So let's start today with some walkouts. So you're going to stand at the edge of your mat and walk your hands out into a plank position, and then walk all the way back, stay up all the way, and then repeat 5 times. Awesome. So then we're going to come down to our hands and knees. So you're going to start here. We are inhaling up into our spine, exhaling, letting your chest drop towards the floor. We're going to do this for 5 reps. These are called cat-cows. So inhaling up, exhaling down. Great. So I'm going to turn. You can stay in that same position. I'm going to turn so you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to do a set of thread the needles. So you're going to take one hand, place it behind your head, bring your elbow in, allowing your elbow to come towards your wrist, and then opening up away, allowing your back to open, and then coming back in. So you're opening that chest up, rotating through your thoracic spine, coming back. We're gonna do 5 per side. And then switch. Good. So turning again, just so you can see what I'm doing, we're going to sit back into child's pose and just sink into the floor. We're going to come up. So we're going to come up into a plank position. We're going to bring one leg forward at a time, just like this, and then rotate and open toward that leg. We're going to switch and do each side 3 times. All right, so we're going to come to a seated position. You can sit however is comfortable for you as long as you're sitting nice and tall. You can let your shoulders drop down, so try to release some tension in your shoulders so you're not up here. You're going to slowly bring your head forward so your chin is coming to your chest, and then slowly rotate, looking all the way up. Going all the way around and back. So now the opposite direction. Try to keep those shoulders relaxed. So try not to bring your shoulders up as you do this. Try to just slowly, gently rotate. And one more. Wonderful. All right. So you can also stay in this position. Take one arm, place it behind your back, and then gently pull your head away so you feel that stretch in your upper trap and neck. So you should feel it right in here. You're just going to gently pull that neck away. Take a few deep breaths. And switch sides. All right, so you can shrug those shoulders a little bit. We're going to stand up. We're going to go into a deep squat stretch. So standing at least with your feet at least as wide as you would squat, you're going to come down into a deep squat and grab your toes. Your elbows are staying on the inside of your knees, pushing those knees out. You're trying to keep your chest as upright as possible. It's okay if you can't sit as deep into your squat or do any of these movements to the degree that I am. I'm actually not sure I've said this before in this class, but I have a connective tissue disorder that makes me very flexible. So don't feel like you have to be able to do everything exactly the way I'm doing it, because the way I'm doing it is often not in the normal range per se. So you're gonna sit back into that deep squat, using your elbows to push your knees out, keeping that chest up. You can kind of shift back and forth into your hips, and then come back up into that hamstring stretch. We're gonna come all the way up, and then we're gonna come into a kneeling hip flexor stretch. So I'll start on this side. So you're gonna bring your knee to the ground, one leg forward. You are slowly pressing your hips forward until you feel that stretch in the front of your back leg. So keeping your core engaged, keeping your glutes engaged, you're driving your hips forward until you feel that stretch right here. You can reach up if you want. You can stretch a little side to side. And switch sides. All right. So last but not least, let's do calf stretch. So you're going to put your foot against something that won't move, and then lean in until you feel that stretch in your calf. And switch sides. And I lied, we're actually going to do one more thing before we're done with this warm-up. So you want to be near a door or something, a wall, something you can hold on to. I'm going to hold on to this rack. So you're going to bring your leg up, rotate your hip out and around and back and all the way around. And we're going to do that 3 times per side. So you can stay on the same side. You're just rotating that hip all the way back, all the way forward. Notice I'm holding on to something, so I don't have to worry about my balance. And I'm switching sides. So I'm going to face away. So same thing. You might be able to tell that my left hip is slightly tighter than my right. All right. So now we're going to grab some water. I'm going to talk about circuit 1. So circuit 1 is definitely going to be the easier of the 2 circuits today. So if you are looking for just some light movement, you might want to just do circuit 1, and then you can hang out and pick what you want on circuit 2. Or you can do the whole workout. It's up to you. So sorry, let me mute this. Just realized. Okay. So we're going to start circuit 1 with YTAs. So you're laying on your stomach. You're going to rest your forehead on the ground. You're going to come up Y, T, and A. Notice that I'm dragging my arms across the ground. So I'm coming up, squeezing my shoulder blades, squeezing my shoulders, squeezing my shoulders. So we'll do those for 45 seconds. And then we're going to do glute bridges. Sorry, I'm getting a little sweaty. All right, so glute bridges. You are laying on your back. Feet are hip width apart. You can put your arms on the ground next to you. you want to engage your core so your back is not arching. So you're trying to keep your core engaged as you drive up your glutes and hamstrings. Hold for 2 seconds and back down. So you're keeping that core engaged, driving through your glutes, holding for 2 seconds, and back down. Next up, we're going to do bird dogs. So in that same position, we were starting in for those cat-cows. You're on your hands and knees. You're engaging your core, and then you're extending opposite arm, opposite leg. Trying to keep that core engaged, not letting your back arch. And we'll alternate sides. You can do those as slow as you need to. And then lastly, last thing for this, you can do either a plank or push-ups, or you can alternate. So with either of those, you want to make sure, your hands are positioned under your shoulders. Whether you're kneeling or in full extension, you're keeping your core engaged. So you don't want your back to arch or your hips to dip towards the ground. You want to keep your core engaged. So whether you're here, or you're here, or you're here, you want to make sure that core is engaged. If you're doing push-ups, regardless of whether you're doing kneeling or full extension push-ups, you want to make sure your elbows are coming out at a 45-degree angle. You don't want them to be at 90. You don't want them to be super close. You want them to be right in that middle. Your hands are kind of ending in your armpits or just right outside of them. And then you're pushing from your chest, keeping that core engaged. So you can also do these against the wall. So as you can see, if I put my hands here, it's going to be a little lower because that's where your shoulders will end. Coming down, pressing up, just like this. So that would be the easiest modification. Next up, you have either incline or kneeling like this. And then obviously the hardest version is going to be your full extension push-up, coming down and up, just like that. So that's going to be our first set. So YTAs, glute bridges, bird dogs, and either planks or push-ups. If you're doing a plank, you can just hold. So I'm going to get the timer set up. And we are doing 45-second rounds today, but you can take breaks as you need. So I'm going to give everyone a 10-second countdown, and then we are starting with these YTAs. So 10 seconds. And go. Okay, so I'm squeezing the backs with my shoulders to bring my arms off the ground in the Y, T, and A positions. All right. So you can flip on over on your mat. Next up, we have glute bridges. So same thing, you got a 10-second countdown, and we'll get started. Remember to keep your core engaged for these. And go. Great job. All right. So flip on over again. So we are now in the same position as we were in for those cat-cows during the warm-up. So on your hands and knees, and 10-second countdown. Remember, you are keeping that core engaged and you're alternating opposite arm, opposite leg. And go. Great job. Okay, so remember, for this last movement, you can either do a plank, any variation you want, or you can do a push-up, any variation you want. So adjust this to fit your body's needs, and don't feel like you have to do the hardest version of this just because you can, right? So if you're feeling extra stressed, extra tired, maybe dial it back a little today. All right, so 10-second countdown, and you can do push-ups or planks. Great job. All right, so grab some water. We're going to repeat that circuit here in a second. All right, so a few more seconds of rest, and then we're going to repeat that circuit. So remember, we're starting with those YTAs. All right, so 10-second countdown. We're back with those YTAs. And go. And flip on over. We're going to do a set of glute bridges for 45 seconds. So countdown, 10 seconds. Remember to keep your core engaged and you're driving from your glutes. And go. job. So go ahead and flip over. We're back in that same position as the cat-cows. 10-second countdown, and we're doing alternating bird dogs. Great job. Okay, so last but not least for this circuit, we are either doing a plank or push-ups. So I did push-ups last time, so I'm going to switch to a plank. You are welcome to do whatever feels best for you, and remember to modify it to fit your body's needs. So, 10-second countdown. We are back at it. Great job. Grab some water. So this time, while we are grabbing water, I'm going to talk us through circuit 2. So like I said, circuit 2 is definitely a little more challenging than circuit 1. So feel free to substitute things as you want and choose what you feel like doing based off of your energy levels and how your body is feeling. So the first thing we're doing is super people. So similar to YTAs in that we're laying on our stomach, different in that instead of just our arms moving, we're squeezing our entire posterior chain. So hamstrings, glutes, a little bit of low back. We're coming up, lifting our arms and our chest slightly off the ground and our legs off the ground and back down. So coming up, holding, and back down. So we'll do those for 45 seconds. For our second thing, we have 2 options here. Well, actually, you have multiple options, but 2 main options. So we can do squats, or you can do high knees. So for squats, same as usual, make sure your stance is at least hip width apart. Engage your core, try to keep your chest up. Your hips come back, knees come forward and out, and you're coming back up. So from the side, engage your core, chest is up, hips come back, knees come forward and out, and back up. If you feel like you're leaning excessively forward, or you feel like you fall backwards when you sit back into your hips, there's 2 things you can try. You can try putting something under your heels. So I'm going to show you with this real quick. So like this, you can put a set of books under your heels. So it takes the angle off of your ankles. So then squat like that. It might help if you're leaning forward. The other option is going to be to put a chair or bench or something sturdy enough to hold your weight behind you, and then you can literally squat to that. If you lose your balance, you just sit down. So the other option is going to be high knees. So high knees you can do stationary like this, bringing your knees up like this. You can also do like a jogging in place like this, or you can do them seated, where you are bringing like this, or even across slightly. So you can kind of play around with these. So if for whatever reason maybe your knees don't enjoy squats, whatever it may be, feel free to switch out whatever you're doing for this round and just move for 45 seconds in whatever way feels good. Third, we're going to do either plank to downward dog with opposite leg taps, or we're going to do arm circles. I'll show you arm circles first. So arm circles can be done either standing, you're just rotating forward, backward, you can switch directions, whatever. You will start to feel a little bit of a burn in your shoulders. That's normal. Take breaks as you need. So like I said, those can be done standing or seated. The more difficult movement, if you are looking for more of a challenge, would be to do plank to downward dog with opposite leg tap. So you're starting in a plank position, you are pushing back into downward dog, and you are tapping the opposite leg, shifting forward, tapping the opposite leg, shifting forward, tapping, just like that. So you can choose which of those feels best for you. And then last but not least, we're going to do dead bugs for this round. Dead bugs, you can either do moving your arms and legs, or just your arms, or sorry, just your legs. So for arms and legs, you are doing opposite arm, opposite leg, keeping your core engaged. So my core is engaged, my back is not arching, it's staying to the ground, and I'm engaging my core throughout. You can also either put your hands on your core or out to the side and just do opposite leg, like this, or you can even do toe taps. So just like this, where you are slowly tapping your foot to the ground. All of these, keep your core engaged, keep that back from arching. So that is going to be our circuit 2 today. Like I said, you can make it as difficult or as easy as you want today. And feel free to skip anything that doesn't feel good. All right. So we are going to start here with some super people in 10 seconds. All right. So now you are doing squats or any high knee variation you want. So 10-second countdown. And go. Great job. Okay. So, like I said, you can either do arm circles or we can do plank to downward dog with opposite leg tap for this next one. So, 10-second countdown, and we will start. Great job. So last but not least, we have dead bugs. So remember, modify these as you need. And 10-second countdown. I think I'm blocking the sensor. There we go. Okay. User error. And go. All right. So rest, grab some water, and we're going to repeat all of that in just a second. All right. So we're going to start in just a second here. So another round. We're starting with super people, and then squats or high knees, plank to downward dog with taps or arm circles, and dead bugs. So we're going to do a 10-second countdown for another set of super people. And go. All right, so squats or whatever high knee variation you want. 10-second countdown. And go. Good job. All right, so plank to downward dog with opposite leg taps, or dead bug, or not, sorry, not dead bugs, or arm circles. Whew. All right. And 10-second countdown. Sorry, I'm moving over here. This floor is a little more sturdy. Feels better on my wrists. All right, and last but not least, dead bugs. Whew. So, 10-second countdown. All right, grab some water. We have 3 more things left. All right, so we'll start with a set of 40 penguins. So you are laying on your back, feet are hip width apart. You're engaging your core slightly to come up, so your shoulders are off the ground. And then you are reaching same hand to same heel, just like this. You can also keep your arms at your side like this. It's up to you. And we're going to do a set of 20 per side or 40 total. So when you are ready, so you're coming up slightly to engage your core, and then tapping your heels. And rest. Next up, we're going to do a set of 20 crunches, any variation you want. So you can do knees bent like this, one leg extended, and do 10 this way, and then switch legs extended. You can do knees up, you can do toe touch crunches, any crunches you want for a total of 20 reps. Ready, and go. do 15 leg raises, and then you are done for today. So for leg raises, you're gonna lay on your back, put your hands under your butt. You can start with your legs up. You can either do one leg at a time, just like this. So then you would do 8 per side or 16 total. Or you can do both at the same time, like this, for 15 total. So ready, and go. All right. So that is all I have for you today. So thank you all for coming to Movement Mondays today. Try to take some deep breaths, stretch if you feel like you need to, make sure you're hydrated. And I will see you next Monday, 6 p.m., same place. Thanks to Thunderbus for sponsoring this class. Again, I'm Alex Weaver. I'm owner and coach of Alien Athletes, and this class happens every Monday at 6 p.m. And see you next week. Thank you all for coming.